If you want to start growing and you want to start doing anything, you have to become aware of who you are and how your body works. It doesn't matter what some random words say. If somebody can control us with their words, they're our master. Let's get rid of that ability for them to control us. So the things I do to remind myself is because there's so many things that we can identify with. So it's a constant reminder of whatever situation I'm in. I'm like, all right, 10 years ago, I would have identified as a husband. I would identify as a dad. I would identify as a senior project manager. And as I go into a situation, I try to make sure that I'm not identifying with anything because it potentially can throw me out of whack. I don't want my body to physically start defending something, and then my brain goes into the default network. I get dumb, and I lose the whole situation. So it's a constant reminder and an awareness, and everything comes back. If you want to start growing and you want to start doing anything, you have to become aware of who you are and how your body works. So if I'm Evan and you got you're a marketing guy, you're getting coached by brilliant people and you got a whole lot working on the inside, you're constantly working on yourself. But if I say something to like you, like you're a shitty husband, that's gonna hurt. All right, it probably makes your stomach feel a little funky because you identify as being a good husband. You know that that's not true, and but at the end of the day, your body doesn't know the difference. And so you have a physical response in the middle of your gut when I say that, even though you know I'm your friend. And yeah, because your body's going to physically react regardless of whether you know that, because I'm a kind person, you know that I don't mean that, but your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference about that. But if I say the same thing to you, I'm like, Evan, you're the shittiest attorney ever. Nothing there because you have no attachment to it. But it's so easy to remove that attachment of being a good husband. And guess what? When the next time you and your wife get into it about something, because every couple, you're going to fuss and argue at whatever level you guys do. If you were to take off being a good husband, you wouldn't feel any reason to defend your side because your body's not going to physically do that. You'll just be able to consciously say, all right, baby, help me understand what you're saying here, because there wouldn't be a, well, don't you know, or there wouldn't be no physical reaction. It would just be a, sweetheart, help me understand what you're saying a little bit better, so I could make some changes or help you feel better about this situation. Like, what can I do to make this better? And all of a sudden, you're able to work through a relationship issue with your spouse and get to a better place without all the physical reaction that makes it worse. And that's how, honestly, it's a major part of why men in particular react the way we do, because we are so stringently attached to a lot of these attachments. Being a husband, being a good husband, that's a big one. Being a good dad, that's a huge one. You attack either one of those and we'll fight you in the streets, right? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what some random words say. If somebody can control us with their words, they're they're our master. Let's get rid of that ability for them to control us, and we just respond. We don't react, and life gets a lot easier after